Almost 2 decades after I played Batman on the NES, Rocksteady Studios developed the first in what would become a series of games featuring the Dark Knight, to great success. Both critics and consumers alike praised the first iteration, the Batman Arkham Asylum. I was apprehensive but eventually gave in and purchased the game shortly before the sequel was released. And for the first time since I was 5 years old, I was enjoying a Batman game. Batman Arkham City was the next game from Rocksteady, and 2 was given high praise thanks to its retaining of Asylum's strong combat system while opening up the world of Arkham City for gamers to interact with. The franchise stumbled a bit with Arkham Origins, mostly thanks to a weak story and a lack of innovation, but promised to deliver the finale of a lifetime with the PlayStation 4 Xbox One exclusive Batman Arkham Knight. For the first time in the Arkham series of games, Arkham Knight is set in modern-day Gotham City, where Batman has grown more fatigued with the constant battles caused by villains attempting to ruin not only Gotham, but the man behind the mask himself. Thankfully for players of the previous Arkham games, Arkham Knight feels like familiar territory. Not much has changed when it comes to the mostly perfect combat system that has actually been copied by other games in the genre. The story focuses on 2 major adversaries looking to take down Batman one final time, Scarecrow and the man behind the game's title, the Arkham Knight. Scarecrow's penchant for causing fear through a toxin he continuously promises to release throughout Gotham at times plays second fiddle to the Knight's audible posing and declarations of death to the man he claims he knows better than anyone. As the player progresses through the story, he or she gets to experience the abilities of the Arkham Knight firsthand, while Scarecrow, the heavily promoted villain in this game, seems like nothing more than window dressing for a couple of plot twists. The story keeps plugging along, sprinkling in reminders that side quests are available because, lo and behold, 100% completion of the game is necessary to see the full ending. That's right. Play through the game's story, but don't expect to see how Arkham Knight really concludes unless you've locked up all the major villains moving throughout Gotham. This wouldn't have been so bad if one of those requirements for 100% didn't include collecting the 200+ Riddler trophies scattered throughout the city, with some being unattainable without solving puzzles that range from easy as cake to demented as a grappling hook to the groin. When I completed the story and almost all the side quests, including the Riddler races and battles to free Catwoman, I just couldn't put myself through the boredom of collecting all of the Riddler trophies. I'm perfectly content about watching the full ending on YouTube, and there's a good chance you'll be too. If Arkham Asylum was called the first definitive Batman game, then Arkham Knight promised to be the culmination of everything starting in Asylum, expanding in Arkham City, and innovative unlike Arkham Origins. While the combat system, still featuring basic, light, strong, and counterattacks, feels mostly the same as the previous Arkham games, there are a few additions to one of the best things about the series. First, there are fear takedowns. By using silent takedowns during missions, Batman builds up his fear meter that gives the hero an opportunity to swoop down or up for clean takedowns on up to 5 unsuspecting enemies. In certain situations, Batman will have the opportunity to team up with another character in combat. These battles result in each character fighting a group of bad guys while building up another meter that allows for a double team attack that not only knocks out an opponent, but also switches the player's character, giving said gamer the chance to experience the free-flow combat experience as someone other than Batman. The enemy AI can be flaky at times, but more often than not, even minor adversaries are alert and ready to pick Batman apart, especially if they're armed with guns, or able to revive fallen comrades if a medic is in the pack. If enemies have a direct line to the Knight, they listen to his advice and follow it to the T, forcing the player to adjust his or her strategy at a moment's notice, taking away that lie-in-wait problem seen in previous Arkham games. Batman's ability to see through walls and nearby enemies with detective mode has also been altered in a good way. A third of the way into the game, enemies acquire devices that can either scramble Batman's vision or make Batman a living homing beacon when using detective mode. Once again, the much-needed change takes away a reliance on something that made the previous games much easier than they needed to be. But not everything is about taking away to make the gameplay better. Actually, you can take away the advantages enemies have with upgraded gadgets like the Disruptor gun that can turn the enemy's gun into a grenade when fired by its user. If Batman is stuck in the middle of a losing firefight, he can toss a smoke bomb to the ground and flee without complication. The hacking device also plays a big role in the combat as sentry guns, drones, and the like become tools for Batman rather than tools of destruction. Though previous Arkham games gave the player the ability to use Batman's various gadgets and weapons, never before has a Batman game felt like it was reaching the true depths of his mechanical wizardry that the lead character possessed. The game's masterful aesthetics cannot be denied as well. Few games of this generation look as wonderful and capture the atmosphere of a fictional city better than Arkham Knight. Gotham beams under the figurative oppressive rain that gladly reflects the shimmying neon lights of buildings just waiting to fall by the wayside. The game's scope and draw distance is absolutely impressive, and usually if you see it, you can reach it, though there are some invisible walls on the far ends of the map. Scattered throughout Gotham are a little over a dozen types of side quests, not including the Riddler trophies, that can see Batman doing everything from saving hostage firefighters to chasing down patrol cars to even solving a murder mystery. With the progression of the story comes the opening up of side quests that gives the player a chance not to rush through the main plot. But no addition to this game compares to Arkham Knight's piece de resistance, the Batmobile. Heavily promoted as the first Batman game to give the player the chance to actually cruise through Gotham in a tank-like vehicle, the Batmobile became more of a poster icon for Arkham Knight than Batman himself. But the Batmobile proves to be more than just a smooth-handling vehicle that allows the player to get across the map without gliding with the greatest of ease. With the holding of a button, the Batmobile turns into a proverbial bat tank, featuring a variety of upgradable weapons including the Vulcan chain gun, and an ability to take over attacking drones so they can team up with your defending machine. The Batmobile also plays a vital role in completing several side quests, ranging from disarming bombs to racing through underground tracks somehow constructed by the Riddler. But Rocksteady's need to emphasize Batman's latest toy in the Arkham universe comes at a price, specifically regarding story missions. Throughout the game, Batman isn't forced to just sneak around and solve puzzles like in previous games. Instead, the game is littered with missions that demand the player to utilize the Batmobile or not progress. For example, early in the game, Batman has to infiltrate a chemical plant. What appears to be a simple stealth mission becomes an exercise in tedium as Batman has to not only find a way into the plant, but also get the Batmobile inside the facility so he can lift a single elevator or blast down a wall that is purposely made as a barrier only the Batmobile can destroy. The problem gets worse and extends missions to the point of tedium, rather than leaving me intrigued and not wondering where the next save point is so I could just stop. Then there are the drone battles featuring the Batmobile. In the previously mentioned chemical plant, Batman contends with a host of rocket-launching drones helped by the Arkham Knight and a flying helicopter. The first encounter feels epic and unique, but then the drones just keep coming. The bomb disarming side quest is structured around drone battles, and throughout the story the Batmobile must destroy drivable enemy after enemy without much variety or challenge, when each battle is a simple exercise of strafing left or right to get out of the line of fire before obliterating the high-tech piece of weaponry. The unnecessary reliance on the Batmobile in story missions isn't the only problem with the plot. Actually, the plot itself is a true tour de force of cliches, predictable outcomes, and a sheer lack of urgency that shouldn't be in any way tied to the finale of a series. There is one plot twist early in the game that affects Batman's character during the story's remainder, but the quote-unquote shocking addition only helps remind the player just how shallow and uninteresting the main villains in this game are. The revelations and conclusions are also lackluster, and that's not reiterating the requirements needing to see the full ending. Thanks to terrible attempts at foreshadowing and reliance on playing to the source material, situations like the inevitable unmasking of the Arkham Knight are predictable at best and disappointing at worst. The finale is made even more intolerable by the pure and simple fact that there is no final boss battle. So for those hoping to have an experience similar to or greater than the Scarecrow level in Arkham Asylum, to close this chapter, there is no justice. Nope, you just enjoy many tank battles and Rocksteady's attempt at making the Arkham Knight into this game's version of the end from Metal Gear Solid 3. It's quite sad to see the Arkham series' story figuratively stumble across the finish line. When Arkham Knight takes advantage of the incredible foundation set by prior Arkham iterations, it's a wonderful experience that feels like a true fan's dream Batman game come true. The combat is refined as ever. Gadgets are useful and give you a plethora of options by the game's final third. But the game's greatness doesn't come without its share of problems. The plot is rather disappointing and fails to end the series with a true bang. The usage of the Batmobile is a mixed bag of fun racing and interesting early battles before deteriorating into unnecessary puzzles and a feeling of seeing that, done that. From a gameplay perspective, Arkham Knight is mostly incredible. But some of the things that could have turned this game into an epic finale, the Batmobile, strong villains, a story worth remembering, never panned out and left me wanting something more. I appreciate what Rocksteady provided and believe it should be played eventually. It's a very good game, but not a fantastic, revolutionary experience that it was marketed as, and really should have been.
Oh, don't act all surprised, Bats. You knew this was going to happen sooner or later. Me stuck deep inside you. Together, we're going to give the city what it deserves. A new Batman. A better Batman. A darker, more... Well, we can come back to this later. Not your best day at the office, Bats. Something on your mind?